Let's be real for a second. Seeing a title like How to Save $100,000 when you're making 35 or 40K a year usually feels like a slap in the face. It sounds like one of those just get a small $1 million loan from your parents type of videos. Most financial experts will tell you that the secret is just budgeting harder, as if skipping your morning lat is going to magically manifest six figures in your bank account while inflation is out here eating everyone's lunch. But here's the contrarian truth: you cannot frugal your way to wealth on a low salary. If you try to save every penny by living on ramen and misery, you'll burn out before you even hit your first 10,000. The secret isn't about restriction. It's about building a system that makes saving invisible and inevitable. I'm not a financial advisor or some Wall Street suit. I'm just someone who obsessed over the math so you don't have to. Today, we're breaking down the exact three-phase blueprint to hit that $100 K mark without losing your mind, starting with how to build a $10,000 momentum engine that actually works in the real world. The first $10,000 is, without a doubt, the hardest money you will ever save. It's the ugly middle of personal finance. When you have $500 in the bank, you're one flat tire away from a crisis. When you have $5,000, you're starting to breathe, but you're still looking over your shoulder. But $10,000? That's where the peace of mind kickstarts. Now, if you look at the comments on most finance videos, people are frustrated because the math doesn't add up. They see save 10K in a year and then realize it requires saving $833 a month. If you're making $3,000 a month before taxes, $833 feels impossible. So we're going to use the 52-week momentum strategy, but with a realistic twist for low-income earners. The mistake most people make is trying to save a flat amount every week. Instead, we're going to use a variable scale. In weeks where you have 3 paychecks, if you're paid bi-weekly, or during months where you get a tax refund or a small bonus, you over-index. In weeks where the electric bill is sky-high because of a summer heat wave, you under-index. The goal isn't a perfect line, it's a finished race. But where do you put this money? This is where the guru math usually fails. I saw a comment the other day where someone was told they'd make $400 a month in interest on a 10K balance. Let's clear that up in a high-yield savings account, HYSA like SoFi or Marcus, at a 4.5% APY. Your $10,000 is going to make you about $37 a month. That's not quit your job money, but it is a free phone bill every single month just for letting your money sit there. It's passive income in its simplest, most boring, and most reliable form. The psychological trick here is what I call the invisibility shield. If you can see the money in your main banking app, you will spend it. It's human nature. You'll tell yourself, oh, I have $2,000 in savings. I can afford this $200 dinner. To save $100 dinner. To save $100 dinner, you have to treat your savings like a tax. When the government takes taxes out of your paycheck, you don't complain to the HR department that you can't afford that tax. You just live on what's left. You need to open an account at a completely different bank one where you don't even carry the debit card in your wallet and set up an automatic transfer, even if it's just $25 a week to start. The beauty of starting small is that it proves to your brain that you won't die if $25 disappears. Once you realize you didn't miss that money, you'll find yourself bumping it to $50, then $100. You're building this saving muscle. Another huge factor for the first $10 is the tax refund trap. In the US, the average tax refund is around $2,800. For someone on a low salary, that is nearly 30% of your 10K goal delivered in a single day. Most people treat this like found money and go buy a new TV or put a down payment on a car they can't afford. If you want to hit $100 K, that refund is not yours. It belongs to your future self. It goes straight into the HYSA. If you do that, you only need to find a way to save about $140 a week to hit 10K in a year. Suddenly, the mountain looks like a hill. But here's the thing. $10,000 is great, but it won't make you wealthy. It just keeps you from being poor. To get to $100,000, we have to stop playing defense and start playing offense. And no, that doesn't mean grinding 80 hours a week at a job you hate. It means shifting our focus to the big wins that actually move the needle. Because while you're stressing over a $4 coffee, you might be overpaying on your rent or car insurance by $400 a month. And that's where the real $100 K journey begins. Now that we've got that $10,000 momentum building in the background, we need to talk about why most people fail to ever see the next $90,000. It's because they get trapped in what I call micro-decision fatigue. You've seen the articles. Stop buying avocado toast and you'll own a home by 30. That is statistically nonsense. If you spend your entire mental energy deciding whether to buy a $4 coffee or a $2 soda, you'll have zero energy left for the decisions that actually matter, the ones that move the needle by thousands, not cents. To save $100K on a low salary, you have to focus on the big three: housing, transportation, and subscriptions. First, let's talk about the rent trap. In America, the rule is usually that you shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on housing, but if you're making $40K, 30% is about $1,000 a month. Good luck finding a decent apartment for $1,000 in most US cities today. This is where the counterintuitive move comes in. Instead of just accepting the annual 5% rent hike, you have to learn the art of the lease negotiation. Most people don't even know you can do this. Landlords hate vacancies that cost them thousands to clean, list, and vet a new tenant. If you've been a good tenant, offer to sign a 24-month lease in exchange for keeping the rent flat. Or, offer to pay 3 months up front for a $100 discount per month. That's $1,200 saved in a single conversation. That's 300 laddies for those keeping score at home. Next, the car. Americans are obsessed with car payments. The average new car payment is now over $700 a month. If you're on a low salary, a $700 car payment is a financial death sentence. The common belief is that you need a new car for reliability. The truth is that a well-maintained 5-year-old Toyota or Honda is just as reliable and doesn't evaporate 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. If you can trade in a high-payment vehicle for something modest and reliable, you're not just saving the monthly payment, you're slashing your insurance premiums. I've seen people save $400 a month just by making this one switch. Over 5 years, that's $24,000, nearly a quarter of your $100K goal. Then there's the ghost in the machine. Subscriptions, we all have them. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, that gym membership you haven't used since the new year, new me phase of 2022. Individually, they're $15. Collectively, they're a leak in your boat. Use an app like Rocket Money or just spend 20 minutes looking at your bank statement. If you haven't used it in 30 days, kill it. You can always resubscribe later. This isn't about being cheap, it's about being intentional. Now, let's talk about the most powerful psychological tool in this phase, the yesterday's salary rule. The biggest reason people never hit $100 says lifestyle creep. You get a $3,000 raise at work and suddenly you feel like you deserve a better apartment or a nicer wardrobe. To hit 6 figures, you have to make a deal with yourself. Your lifestyle stays at yesterday's salary until you hit your goal. If you get a raise, that money never enters your checking account. It goes straight to the HESA or your investment account. You never feel the raise, so you never miss the money. This is how a teacher or a clerk ends up with more money than a lawyer who spends every dime they make. And a quick word on side hustles. The internet loves to tell you to start an agency or become an influencer. That's a full-time job disguised as a hobby. For a real person with a real job, look for asymmetric returns. Selling stuff you don't use on Facebook Marketplace is a classic for a reason. It's pure profit and clears your headspace. Or, if you have a skill like pet sitting or basic tutoring, do it on your own terms. But remember, a side hustle is only a wealth builder if 100% of that money goes toward the $100K goal. If you use side hustle money to buy better takeout, you're just working more to stay in the same place. This is the part of the video where the math gets spicy. But I promise to keep it real. Once you have your $10,000 cushion and you've optimized your big expenses, you've graduated, you're no longer just a saver. You're an investor. If you keep all your money in a savings account, even a high-yield one, you're fighting an uphill battle against inflation. To get from $10 to $100K on a low salary without waiting 40 years, you need the market to do the heavy lifting. In the comments of one of my favorite finance videos, someone pointed out a huge error. A creator claimed you'd get a 7% return on a savings account. That's flat out wrong. Savings accounts are for safety. The stock market is for growth. The standard advice is to pick individual stocks: Tesla, Nvidia, whatever is trending on Reddit. Don't do that. That's gambling with a fancy name. If you want to hit $100 with zero stress, you want index funds, specifically something like VO, Vanguard S&P 500, or VTI, Total Stock Market. When you buy these, you're buying a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. If Apple wins, you win. If Microsoft wins, you win. Here's the realistic math that people miss. The S&P 500 has averaged about a 10% annual return over the last several decades. If you can find a way to invest $500 a month, which becomes much easier after you've cut those big 3 expenses we talked about, and you start with your $10,000 momentum fund, you'll hit $100,000 in about 9 to 10 years. Wait, you might say, 10 years? I wanted it faster. Here's the thing. On a low salary, the first 10 years are going to pass anyway. You can either spend those 10 years at $0 or you can spend them building a $100 engine. And here's the magic. The first $100 is the hardest, but it's also the most important because of the rule of 72. Once you have $100K invested, if it grows at 7%, adjusting for inflation, that money will double to $200K in about 10 years without you adding another penny. The second $100 is basically a gift from the universe. But we live in the US, so we have a secret weapon, the Roth IRA. If you're making a low salary, you are likely in a low tax bracket. This is the perfect time for a Roth IRA. You put money in after tax, and when you take it out at age 59.5, every single penny of that growth, all those tens of thousands of dollars, is completely tax-free. The government can't touch it. It's the closest thing to a legal cheat code we have. And don't forget the 401k match. If your employer offers a match and you aren't taking it, you are literally giving away part of your salary. If they match 3% and you don't contribute, you just took a 3% pay cut for no reason. That's an immediate 100% return on your money. Even if you hate your job, take the match. It's your money. The final piece of the engine is extreme automation. I cannot stress this enough. You are your own worst enemy. If you have to log in every month and manually move $500 into your Roth IRA, you will eventually find an excuse not to do it. Oh, it's my friend's birthday, or I need new tires. Set it up so that the money moves the day after your paycheck hits. Make it so that you never even see it in your checking account. When the money is gone before you can spend it, your brain naturally adjusts. You'll find yourself being more creative with your grocery list or finding free things to do on the weekend because the checking account number is lower. It's a Jedi mind trick on yourself. Saving $100 isn't about being a math genius. It's about being a system genius. It's about accepting that you're human, that you like to spend money, and building a fence around your future so you can't accidentally ruin it. Look, I know that $100,000 still feels like a massive, distant mountain, especially when you're looking at a paycheck that barely covers the basics. But remember, every person you see with a massive portfolio started exactly where you are with $0 and a decision to do things differently. We've covered the 10K momentum engine, the big 3 wins that actually matter, and the index fund machine that does the work for you. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-wealthy-for-sure plan. The peace of mind that comes with having 6 figures in the bank is something I want everyone watching this to experience. It's the ability to say no to a toxic boss. It's the ability to sleep through a recession. It's the freedom to live life on your terms, not your employer's. If you found value in this, not because I'm some expert, but because we're just figuring this out together, do me a favor. Hit the like button so the algorithm shows this to more people who are tired of being told to just budget harder. Comment below with your first goal. Is it $1,000? $10,000? Let's hold each other accountable. Start today, not Monday, not next month. Today, move $5 into a separate account right now just to prove you can. I'll see you in the next one.